Welcome back to another market update, guys. We're looking at some of the major pairs, see some movements going on. We've got some pretty good potential trade setups, so make sure to stick all the way through to the end of the video to see what setups we have for this week and for the couple of charts we'll be running through. Also, make sure to smash that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're interested in learning more about Forex and improving your current trading skills. So without further ado, let's jump into the charts and see what we have. So this is AUD USD. This is the 4 hourly tone time frame. Now we've on this beautiful downtrend. We can see our lower highs and our lower lows making this nice little move to the downside. And we can see usually when we look for moves to the downside, obviously it's hard to get in at the top, so we try to get back on board in the middle of the move, or if we can get some re-entries back, jumping back on board on the train. Alright, so currently what we have now, we had this beautiful sort of support / resistance zone, saw a nice little break. We had an initial retest back down here. We can see this, roughly the support we're sitting on right now is the 0.70100 mark zone. So nice psychological level. We can see the market struggling just below it right now. So we have a couple, first nice big rejection over here, obviously nothing major. Then we saw this nice sort of slowing down where we're sitting at right now. Market starting to consolidate. We'll jump over to the 1 hourly term time frame to see what's going on. We can see a nice double top on that smaller lower term time frame. Obviously we can see is staying below this resistance over here as well. We previously had on the 11th or 12th of May here our time. So right now, let's see if we can get a move further to the downside. If we can stay further below, jumping here on the 4 hourly term time frame, we can look for nice potential moves to continue further lower for the Aussie dollar, which is nice because then it also means that the dollar is getting stronger, so we can have a look to see if that does help with any other pairs we'll be looking at. So obviously, if we can get a nice big engulfing close, we can look for some nice moves. Targets-wise, we have a bit of a resistance coming up. I'm looking here at the 0.68890 mark zone as the initial resistance, and obviously coming back down to the low way down over here, 0.68150 is a place to look at. But obviously because this market is in a downtrend, which does mean it does create new lower lows, we can zoom out a bit and see if we do have any potential traffic coming to the left. I'm going to jump over to the daily term time frame, zoom in a bit, and we can see we're actually sitting just above these daily lows as well. So we broke past them, and now we're starting to reject it. So if we can eventually, like I said, those targets we're looking at, we're sitting, if we jump back quickly here to the 4 hourly, put those initial low targets that we're looking at, go back to the daily. If we can start to break below these areas, we can obviously look for drops even further lower, but initial low take profit targets will be the 0.68578 mark zone that I've got here on my chart. So to round it off, 0.68500 mark zone is a good place to look for if we can stay below this 4 hourly resistance. Obviously we need to look at both sides of this picture, so let's have a look and see if we have any trend lines that could be broken. Just for the technical support / resistance zones, obviously if we do break further higher, we have these resistances coming in. Guys, remember, we're not here to predict the future. We're here to trade what the market gives us. So if the market does end up breaking above, we can look for moves, obviously, to these relevant support / resistance areas to push the market further higher. All right. Otherwise, we can also look for potential trend line breaks to see if we have anything along here. Push back up to these trend lines. If we do get a break above, we can look for this market to jump on here and then continue to its further into its downtrend, because this is really a fairly big consolidation zone. If we have a look here to the left, we see some seriously strong traffic as well. All right, let's jump over to our next pair. The next pair I want to look at is GBP. Actually, let's go to Euro USD. Euro USD has now sort of sitting on the, if you have a look here, 2016 is the last time we saw this. So we actually, on our charts, we are matching exactly this 2016 low. We also might see a little bit of a lower move. We can see back here, the last time we were here, looking past this 2016-2014 zone, we can see roughly about 2003. So about 20 or 19 years ago, we saw these lows. So the Euro USD is really starting to push the downside. Now, if dollar does continue to strengthen, we could see some fairly dramatic drops pushing this market to the downside. Now, looking here far to the left, it is a very long time back ago in history. So yes, we need to keep that in mind. But we have a nice zone here. 0.99550 is what we've got here on our chart. Jumping down to the daily turn time frame, we can see we had a bit of a consolidation zone. If you guys do remember the zone we were talking about in our previous videos, the video we uploaded the other day, we can see here this zone was kind of the one we were looking for breakouts, and this market has initially looked for sort of a pushback up here to see if we can get a rejection for the dollar to push it further to the downside. But we ended up dipping back into this consolidation zone. So now obviously we're sitting here again with the same situation. Obviously we're looking for breaks above or breaks below. So breaks above, or we can look for breaks below for the dollar to continue strengthening. To the upside, obviously, we are looking at, we've got some nice support / resistance zones. 1.0200 mark zone I've got here on my chart is that start of this consolidation zone, and obviously once we do dip into that, we're looking for similar situations: break above, break below, we can trade within this nice clean zone. Now, we spoke about potential targets to the downside. We obviously have this low we're trying to take back out again. I would say 1.033 is a mark we'll be looking at, and obviously if it does go back down below that, I'll show you guys on the daily term, the monthly term time frame, where we could look for potential targets. GBP/JPY, nothing much. We're starting to dip into a consolidation zone again. All right, we can see nothing much really happening here until we can get some nice breaks below this consolidation area. I'd say roughly around this 160 mark zone, nice psychological level. Breaks below that, we can maybe look for potential moves. But right now, between the 162, 100 and the 160 mark zone, we've got a lot of consolidation. So really for me, this is a kind of a no trade zone. So personally, I'm not going to be looking for anything. This is the hourly term time frame as well. Jump over to the gold actually. So let's jump over to gold now. We've spoken about gold for quite a while. We dipped into that zone, like I mentioned. We dipped into this consolidation zone. Having a look here on the 4-hourly term time frame, we got a beautiful rejection on that zone. So like I mentioned, guys, if you're looking to trade within the zone on the lower term time frames, hourly or 30-minute time frame zones, we can see we actually have very nice entries. You guys can see this is that consolidation zone. You know, the top of that zone, I've got it here marked out on my gold chart. 1833.36. I've got it here on my chart. Obviously, you guys can play around with it a bit. We saw beautiful rejection, nice engulfing close, nice entries. You know, as soon as this market came back into the zone, reject that zone, nice, beautiful little entries, and obviously take profit targets we can look for, you know, either inside this consolidation zone over here or somewhere back along down here if this market does continue to drop to the downside. But it is, like I mentioned, guys, it is a bit of a messy zone. All right, so looking on the daily time frame, we're in a messy zone, but it is a zone nonetheless. And as traders, we're trading from zone to zone. Okay, so let's see how this plays out, guys. These are our analysis we have for this week. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any charts you want us to analyze, make sure to comment them down below. We'll be happy to get to them, guys. From us here at BlackBull Markets, as always, stay tuned, trade safe.